Have you ever looked up at the stars and felt we weren't just alone, but that we were being watched? What if I told you that over 90% of the unexplained phenomena observed in our galaxy are dismissed by mainstream science, yet they keep happening? Just 6 hours ago, I received an encrypted message from a contact inside NASA's Deep Space Network. The attachment contained a single image that made my blood run cold and 3 words that changed everything I thought I knew about 3I divided by Atlas. The portal opened. What you're about to see isn't science fiction. It's not a computer glitch or measurement error. It's documented evidence that 3I divided by Atlas has torn a hole in the fabric of space itself, and something is coming through. My name is Avi Loeb, and as a scientist who has dedicated his career to the search for extraterrestrial technological signatures, often against the grain of popular opinion, I have explored the boundaries of what is possible. Wormholes, dimensional rifts, quantum tunneling. I've put my reputation on the line for phenomena most scientists won't even discuss. But seeing those images from the Hubble Space Telescope, watching space itself distort around 3I divided by Atlas like ripples in a cosmic pond. This isn't theory anymore. You remember how 3I divided by Atlas was transmitting signals? How it demonstrated impossible physics by slowing down when it should accelerate? Well, those weren't just anomalies. They were preparations. This behavior is precisely what defies the simple laws of gravity. An object under the sun's influence should speed up as it leaves, yet 3I divided by Atlas put on the brakes. This wasn't a passive object. This was an object under control. This deliberate deceleration is a technological hallmark, a clear sign of intent. Those signals weren't noise. They were the sound of sophisticated machinery coming online. Have you ever wondered what it would look like if someone or something could actually bend the laws of physics to create a doorway between worlds? December 3rd, 2024, at 11:47 p.m. Eastern Time, the James Webb Space Telescope detected what NASA is calling a localized gravitational anomaly around 3I divided by Atlas. That's bureaucratic language for something that shouldn't exist. A gravitational anomaly means the path of light, the very fabric of space-time, is being warped in a way that mass alone cannot explain. We usually see this around massive objects like black holes, but 3I divided by Atlas is comparatively small. To create such an effect without the mass of a star requires physics we consider exotic. It implies the direct manipulation of gravity itself, a region of space where light bends in impossible directions, where time itself appears to slow down, where the cosmic background radiation shows patterns that violate every principle of astrophysics. But here's what makes it truly terrifying. The anomaly isn't random, it's geometric. Perfect circles within circles, mathematical spirals that extend for millions of miles, all centered around 3I divided by Atlas nature doesn't create perfect concentric geometric shapes millions of miles wide. Gravitational lensing bends light. It doesn't organize it. This is architecture. This is intelligent design on a scale that boggles the human mind. 3 impossible things are happening simultaneously. Space is folding in on itself like origami. Time is moving at different rates in different zones around the object, and energy reading suggests something massive is being pulled through from somewhere else. NASA's official statement: routine gravitational lensing effects, but the classified data tells a different story entirely. Let me be absolutely clear about what we're witnessing. For decades, theoretical physicists have speculated about the possibility of artificially created wormholes, dimensional gateways, portals between distant regions of space. We always assumed such technology was millions of years beyond human capability. We were wrong about who might possess such capabilities. The 3I divided by Atlas isn't just an interstellar visitor anymore. It's an engineering project, a cosmic construction site where something is building a permanent bridge between our solar system and somewhere else. The gravitational distortions around it are expanding at a measurable rate. What started as a localized anomaly is becoming a permanent alteration to the structure of space itself. And here's what terrifies NASA most. They can detect massive objects approaching the portal from the other side, objects that dwarf 3I divided by Atlas itself. When I first analyzed the gravitational field data, I had to check my calculations 17 times. The energy requirements for what 3I divided by Atlas is accomplishing should require the power output of an entire star. But somehow it's drawing energy from sources we can't detect, tapping into quantum fluctuations, zero-point fields, dimensions of space we haven't discovered yet. This is the holy grail of advanced physics, vacuum energy, the ability to pull usable energy from the very fabric of empty space. If 3I divided by Atlas is doing this, it proves that physics we consider purely theoretical is not only possible but practical for an advanced civilization. The portal itself defies everything we know about wormhole physics. According to Einstein's equations, any artificial gateway should collapse instantly under its own gravitational stress. Instead, 3I divided by Atlas is maintaining a stable opening that grows larger every day. The exotic matter required for such stability doesn't exist anywhere in our periodic table. But the most chilling detail, the mathematical signatures of the portal match theoretical models I published in 1994. Work that should have been impossible to access without classified security clearance. I need to share something personal that's been haunting me. Last week, I dreamed about equations I'd never seen before. Complex mathematics describing multidimensional space that was far beyond my understanding. When I woke up and wrote them down, they perfectly described the portal structure around 3I divided by Atlas. Either I'm losing my mind or something is communicating with human consciousness in ways we've never imagined. The moment that shattered my scientific rationality happened when I realized those equations weren't just describing the portal, they were describing how to expand it. My wife found me at my desk at 4:00 a.m., staring at mathematical proofs that seemed to write themselves. When she asked what I was working on, I couldn't answer because I honestly don't know where those equations came from. Something is teaching us, preparing us, or perhaps warning us about what's coming through that portal. The Hubble images show space literally bending around 3I divided by Atlas like a funnel. Light from background stars follows curved paths that create perfect spirals. This isn't gravitational lensing, this is architectural. But the really disturbing data comes from our deep space listening post. They're detecting structured transmissions coming through the portal, not from 3I divided by Atlas, from whatever's on the other side. The signals contain mathematical progressions, geometric patterns, and something that looks disturbingly like construction blueprints, plans for expanding the portal, stabilizing the connection, preparing for arrival. Think about that. We are intercepting the assembly instructions. We are listening to the cosmic construction crew. This implies a level of confidence or perhaps indifference to our presence. Amateur astronomers worldwide are reporting visual distortions when they point their telescopes toward 3I divided by Atlas. Some describe seeing geometric structures, others report mathematical symbols appearing in their photographic exposures. NASA's response: complete information blackout, but they can't hide what people are seeing with their own eyes. What happened next reveals just how unprepared our governments are for this reality. Within 12 hours of the portal detection, every major space agency activated something called the Dimensional Incursion Protocol, a classified contingency plan that officially doesn't exist, emergency sessions at the United Nations, closed-door meetings with world leaders, an activation of space-based assets that the public has never been told about. The official story: routine gravitational wave research, but leaked documents reveal the truth. They're preparing for the possibility that Earth is about to receive visitors from another dimension entirely as is. Military satellites have been repositioned, deep space radar arrays are operating at maximum sensitivity, and construction has begun on facilities designed to handle extra-dimensional diplomatic contact. Because this isn't just about 3I divided by Atlas anymore. Intelligence agencies now believe the portal is a doorway for an intelligence that exists across multiple dimensions simultaneously. Remember those smaller objects traveling with 3I divided by Atlas? We now know their true purpose. They're not just communication relays. They're portal stabilizers. Each companion object is positioned at precise mathematical coordinates around the main portal, creating a network of gravitational anchors that prevent the wormhole from collapsing. But here's what makes it truly remarkable. The positioning follows equations from 11-dimensional string theory that humans only discovered 15 years ago. This suggests whoever built this system understands mathematics we are barely beginning to explore. String theory for us is almost a philosophy. It's a mathematical framework we can't test. For them, it's engineering. They are using extra dimensions as tools. Satellite imagery shows the companion objects are changing shape, extending geometric structures that look like antenna arrays or dimensional tuning forks. And every time they adjust their configuration, the portal grows larger, more stable, more permanent. Yesterday, my granddaughter asked me a question that stopped me cold. "Grandpa, are the space people coming to visit us?" She's 7 years old. She shouldn't know anything about this. But children around the world are having the same dreams, drawing the same geometric patterns, asking the same questions about visitors from other dimensions. Either we're dealing with mass hallucination on a global scale, or something is preparing humanity psychologically for contact with intelligence that transcends our current understanding of reality, the equations that appeared in my dreams. My granddaughter drew identical patterns in her coloring book, mathematical spirals that perfectly match the portal structure around 3I divided by Atlas. We're not just witnessing first contact, we're experiencing consciousness expansion on a species level. Here's what NASA doesn't want you to know. The portal isn't just a doorway between distant regions of space. It's a gateway between dimensions where the laws of physics operate differently. The objects approaching from the other side aren't spacecraft in any sense we understand. They're manifestations of intelligence that exists in 11-dimensional space, temporarily compressing themselves into our 3-dimensional reality. This is the key. We are 3-dimensional beings like a character drawn on a sheet of paper. This intelligence is the artist holding the pencil, existing in a reality above ours. They don't have to follow our rules. December 21st, that's when the portal reaches what engineers call critical stability threshold, the point where it becomes permanently anchored to our local spacetime. After that date, closing it becomes impossible without technology we don't possess. Earth becomes permanently connected to whatever lies on the other side. 3 scenarios face humanity. We can attempt to communicate with whatever is coming through. We can try to disrupt the portal and risk unknown consequences, or we can prepare for the arrival of intelligence that makes our greatest achievements look like children's toys. The mathematics being transmitted through the portal describes physics that operates in dimensions we can barely imagine. Technologies that manipulate time, space, and consciousness as easily as we manipulate matter and energy. What we call impossible, faster than light travel, time manipulation, consciousness transfer between dimensions. These aren't violations of physics. There are applications of physics that operate in higher dimensional space. The intelligence behind 3I divided by Atlas isn't just more advanced than us. It exists in a state of reality where our limitations simply don't apply. They're not visiting our dimension, they're expanding into it. And once the portal stabilizes, the boundary between their reality and ours begins to dissolve. We're not being invaded. We're being invited to evolve beyond the constraints of 3-dimensional existence. For centuries, we've imagined that contact with extraterrestrial intelligence would involve ships landing, beings emerging, some form of physical encounter between species. But what if advanced intelligence doesn't travel through space at all? What if it moves between dimensions existing simultaneously in multiple realities? The portal around 3I divided by Atlas suggests we're dealing with consciousness that transcends physical form entirely. Intelligence that can manifest in any dimension at will. Our entire concept of identity, of individual consciousness, may be a limitation they've long since evolved beyond. Perhaps we are not meeting aliens. Perhaps we're meeting ourselves from a future where humanity has learned to exist in 11-dimensional space. Here's what I believe is happening based on evidence we can no longer ignore. 3. I divided by Atlas represents first contact with intelligence that exists in the mathematical framework underlying reality itself. They don't travel between stars. They manipulate the dimensional structure that creates stars, planets, and the illusion of distance between them. The portal isn't bringing them to us. It's preparing to take us to them, to show us what consciousness becomes when it's no longer confined to biological brains in three-dimensional space. December 21st marks the end of humanity's isolation, not just from other species, but from other dimensions of existence entirely. After that date, the boundary between what we call reality and what we call imagination begins to dissolve. December 21st will mark the most significant transformation in human consciousness since the development of language. The day we discover that individual identity is just one limited way of experiencing existence. Pay attention to your dreams. Notice the mathematical patterns appearing in your thoughts. Because the expansion isn't just happening in space, it's happening in human consciousness. Document everything you experience that seems impossible. Share your visions, your equations, your geometric dreams, because we are all becoming receivers for intelligence that operates beyond the boundaries of individual minds. Subscribe to follow humanity's transition into multidimensional existence, because after December 21st, we'll never see reality the same way again. And remember, the portal can't be closed. What's coming through isn't just visiting, it's here to stay. Are you ready to discover what you really are beyond the limitations of three-dimensional consciousness? And this brings us to the most valuable lesson of all. As a scientist, I've spent my life challenging the consensus, arguing that we must follow the data no matter how uncomfortable. The evidence of 3I divided by Atlas teaches us that the greatest barrier to discovery is not the speed of light. It is our own arrogance. We have defined impossible based only on what we can see. We must now learn to be humble, to accept that our understanding of reality is just beginning. The universe is speaking to us. The question is, are we brave enough to listen? This is a turning point for humanity. We need to discuss this. We need to prepare. Please share your thoughts and theories in the comment section. What do you think this portal means? And make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. We will be tracking this event every single day. And this analysis represents interpretation of theoretical physics and reported astronomical data. All scenarios discussed remain speculative pending official confirmation from space agencies. But sometimes as scientists, we must explore possibilities that challenge our fundamental assumptions about reality itself. What do you think the portal around 3I divided by Atlas means for humanity's future? Are we ready for multi-dimensional existence? Share your thoughts below.